Hey, what's up, everyone? In this video, I wanted to talk about some exciting and important changes to the starter sites from the My Listing Club. And then at the end of the video, we're going to talk about some special deal to celebrate what I'm calling the refresh, relaunching of these starter sites. So, going forward for the foreseeable future, we are going to have Canvas Light and Canvas Dark. Canvas Light has already been out there for a while. You know, it's constantly getting better and better. It's already by far the best starter site I've ever built. And what it did is it allowed you to quickly switch to dark mode if you wanted. You flip some switches and do a little bit of configuration, but by and large, it was super easy to do and quick. But I wanted to make it even faster for people. I wanted to create a dedicated dark mode version of the site that's identical to the Canvas Light site. The only difference being is the color scheme. So now in a live working environment, you can see all of the dark mode elements without having to watch a walkthrough video. Okay. So I'm going to quickly show you the homepage just so you know what I'm talking about here. And then we'll continue working through this list of things I want to talk about. So here's the light mode version. You may have already seen it. And then here's the dark mode version, completely the same, 100% all throughout, functionality, everything's the same. It's just the color is different. So the dark mode version, like I said, you'll be able to see in a live working environment, all of the dark mode elements, no watching walkthrough videos anymore. It's all there for you, okay? All right, so let's go back here to the list. As part of this exciting change, all of the CSS packages could be removed that don't relate to the site. Meaning, if it's the light mode site, we no longer need the dark mode CSS packages. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. If we go to the dashboard here of the light mode site, we go to WP Codebox. We used to have a CSS light mode folder that was with all the snippets underneath it enabled by default. And we used to have a CSS dark mode folder with all of the CSS packages disabled. And you would come in here and you would flip the switches and you would automatically, boom, everything would be dark mode or light mode, you know, as far as the CSS goes, okay? But that's no longer needed. And if we go over to the dark mode site, the same thing. All of the switches are flipped. You just have the one folder. You are good to go right out of the box. So everything's going to be just that much faster and easier for you to do. It's just ready to go, okay? Same concept with the templates. We no longer need to keep both versions of the templates on these sites. So if we go to templates, and if you are new to MyListing and you're thinking about using MyListing, maybe you don't know that Elementor templates are a big part of it. So that's what we're looking at here, Elementor templates. And we see here, all we have is light mode, okay? This is gonna make the website, you know, the less database usage, less storage usage. The site's gonna be that much smaller, lot less templates to sift through to find what you're looking for. They're there, right? It's just all light mode or it's dark mode, depending on which site that you go with, okay? Okay, so continuing on, as part of this change, update, push, whatever you want to call it, I've removed almost all of the placeholders. It got way out of hand. I think there was like 1,200 plus images by the time, it was just a week ago when I was looking at this. I was creating a placeholder image for the light mode version, the dark mode version, where the section on the page of the image went. It just got way out of control and it was way too hard to maintain. And what I found too with clients is when we would go through like the managed MyListing service together, none of that mattered anyway, because all they were doing was just uploading. They were identifying the image size they need on their own and just replacing it. So that's the reality of the situation. So it's dead simple to find out the size of the image you need. Like one of the things that I did with the placeholder images was I literally named the file name, the size of the image that it should be. So 500 by 500 pixels, for example. So they knew what size to use. But like I said, it got way out of control and people are going to do what they're going to do anyway. So I thought, well, it's just easier just to explain to those that don't know how to find an image size, just show them. So I'm going to show you right here. And I'll do this again in another video, but it's so easy to figure out what size of image you need. Let's just look at one of these right here. So if I right click on this image and do inspect, and then just go over here on the right-hand side over in this panel, and it's going to tell you the exact size you need. When you hover over it, you know what, let's find one that's not changing here. So let's go let's go do this image here. It's going to work for any image. You see how it gives you the dimensions right there? It's showing 471.45 by 247 by 51, just round up. So you could say 472 by 248 if you wanted, or you could just say, you could probably even get away with 470 by 250. It doesn't have to be completely perfect if we're being really honest. Now, that is the size that you can roll with and be good, especially if you're using an overlay on your image. So let's say, for example, these right here have an overlay. If you have an overlay, the quality of the image, that's going to be perfectly fine. Just use whatever dimensions, right click on it, whatever dimensions that it says to use, you're good. If you want to be absolutely sure that it looks great on, say, Retina devices, I'll let you guys look that up, like image quality on Retina devices. All you need to do is double the value. So we see here on this card, it says 282.5 by 450. So let's just call that 283 by 450. Just double that. Just double the dimensions and you're good to go. Obviously, optimize your images, but it's just too easy to figure out the size of image that you need. It doesn't matter where you go through the site. It's just too easy to find it. It made no sense anymore for me to spend all that time, trying to educate people on every single image, because stuff changes too, right? So if we right click on this one, let's see, 780 by 280, you're good to go. Like it's just that easy. All right. So when you look in the back end, in the media library, instead of seeing 1,200 plus images that are also just making your website that much heavier and just that much stuff you have to sift through, we're down to 200 images. And that's largely because there are some placeholders here. You see that I like listing general Peter block. There was a little bit of education that I'm still doing here. And some of these images, I wanted to keep in there just because they make the site look really nice, and it's easier to visualize in some areas. So like the experts, for example, I really wanted to keep those in. But by and large, and you see here the categories and stuff like that, it just makes the site really look, it's easier to visualize with some of this stuff. But by and large, yeah, we went from reduced over 1,000 images just by not doing those placeholders for every single element. Like I said, I was doing, this was a placeholder image. This next slide, that was a separate image. This was a separate, it got way out of control. So that's no longer the thing anymore. As a byproduct of that, I removed the Happy Files plugin. And the main reason that I put the Happy Files plugin in there for everyone was to create folders where, I'd organize the placeholders. I'd say, here's the homepage folder. So any images I used on the homepage, this is where those images live. And you knew where to go and change that, but you don't need it anymore because of what I just told you. As with, all of the plugins that I mentioned that are included and licensed with these Happy Files, again, if you want it, you just request it and I'll get it to you. It's, like I said, it's included and licensed with your starter site if you want it. I just removed it because it's no longer needed for what we needed to do right, just to get started, right? But again, you can request it if you want. All right. MyListing add-ons. So these used to be code snippets. So I converted all of them now into plugins. So if we go into the typical plugin area of your website, you will notice that they're all plugins and they're all listed clearly. That I went through all of them and made sure that everything was labeled nice and neat. All of the links worked and everything. But here you see them. Just now they're all MyListing Club dash and then whatever the name of the plugin is. So no need to mess with code snippets anymore. So that is a cool change. Yeah. So likewise, if anytime over on the club website, if you go to add-ons and you see an add-on, then these are plugins now. So they're not code snippets. They're just that much easier to implement on your site. Okay. So that's another really, really important change. Complete audit and updates. I have spent literally the last week and a half going through everything. So as part of this transition, I went through and cleaned up all kinds of stuff, made sure that my T's were crossed, my I's were dotted, everything looked really, really damn near perfect. So I went through all of the templates. I went through all of the CSS packages, uploaded all the new refresh of everything. So That was a lot of work, but I think it was really worth it. CSS, went through all of the CSS, made sure everything was on point, and all of that sort of thing. Okay, so that is the complete audit and updates of everything on both sites, light and dark mode. Okay, so what's next? So if you look at the website and you've been on it over the past, I would say 2 or 3 days, you may have noticed that I've been working on some things. There's a complete rebrand as far as the colors go. We went from the yellow to now the blue, and that's for a reason. One of which is Canvas. We're going to roll with the same color scheme as Canvas. And one of the reasons is when we start doing screenshots and everything, which you'll see here in a second, it's just more cohesive. It just kind of just blends together seamlessly, right? But if we look under resources now, that's where everything is going to live eventually. In here, I did create individual pages for these not too long ago. I would create a page just for Elementor templates. And so now I'm just going to go back to the way that it was. And I've updated this resources page. And what I've done now to it is made it just go full screen. And so we can have bigger screenshots and everything and fit more data on the page. And I've eliminated the menu and the header and the footer on this page just to eliminate the distractions and again, fit more data on the screen. But you'll have up here, you'll have a breadcrumb so you can figure out where you are and all that good stuff. But again, the main goal here was to clean everything up, be able to show more data on the page and help you guys find what you need to find faster. And another big driver of it, probably the biggest driver of it, was being able to now show screenshots. Where I wish I would have done this years ago, but I never got around to it. But now you're going to be able to see some of this stuff before you actually have to click into it. You can kind of see what it is that I am talking about. And eventually everything will have a screenshot. The guides, I'm just going to keep the logo and stuff like that. CSS packages that will probably have a screenshot. But if you go to like guides and code snippets might have screenshots too, but guides will probably just keep the logo because there's no need to do a screenshot for a guide. But you'll start noticing these changes as you use the club website. So this is an exciting new change in my opinion. Then when you click in, so you'll have the light mode on the left, dark mode version on the right. You click into it, and then you'll get to see the image there, obviously. And I've gone through it. I'm going through right now, so you may notice some wonkiness as I go through some stuff. Hopefully you won't. But I'm cleaning up every single product page, making it simpler, making sure all of the links are go to where I want them to go, make sure the wording is short and concise, just really cleaning everything up and going through all of that stuff. Okay. I think that's good enough for that part. Product pages, build notes. So like I said, we're Canvas Light and Canvas Dark. So I've got those 2 pages to maintain. So if we go under resources and starter sites, this is another one. Just ask you guys to bear with me here. I'm thinking through how I'm going to organize this. Maybe I'm not going to make too much change. Maybe I'll let most of it roll, but I need to account for that we've got a light and a dark. So I'm going to work on how to work that out and lay this out better, and obviously account for that dark mode version, and maybe do some screenshots in here. But just bear with me as I'm working through that. But yeah, there's Canvas and there's Canvas Dark are available. If you click on one of those, it'll take you to the Canvas page. So this is a dedicated page, for this site. So I'm thinking through this. I'm like, do I want to put just merge the Canvas page into the starter site page and just not have a separate page just for Canvas? So I'm thinking through that, thinking through how, if I want to change how this stuff is laid out. This stuff's fairly new, how I've laid this out. But maybe there's a better way. Just thinking through that. The build notes is a big part of that. I think I am on literally working on this all day right before, the past few days actually. But I think I ended up with blog page. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I'm going through every single tab and making sure Everything says what I want it to say. All of these videos I've had to go through and do my new branding. So I'm just working through all of these tabs. You see there's a lot here to get through, but that is all being updated as we speak. And then once I have all of those build notes and videos and everything in there, then I'll decide if I want to present this information differently. But the main thing is to get that, to get the education and the information in your hands first, and then think about presenting it differently. Okay. What's up next? Screenshots. So we talked about all that. Elementor template requests. We're almost done here. If you are a club community member, one thing I would really want to mention is the club community is not the MyListing Club website. If you get a club membership, so if you go to MyListing Club and you go to join, this is not the club community. The club community is a completely separate thing. It's separate from the club website. So if you go under the menu and you go to more and you go to community, it's going to walk you through and tell you what it's about. But it is on a separate platform. It's hosted on Circle, which is a community solution. It's like I said, can't say this enough. It's completely separate because some people are still confused by that. If you sign up for a club membership, you get lifetime free access to the community, but it's on a different platform, and that's for a reason. It's just a really amazing platform. Okay. So going back to this, if you are a club community member, this is new. I'm offering the chance you guys can request an Elementor template. So let's say you go out to a website. Let's hypothetically say MyListing Club, right? You go to the MyListing Club website and you're like, oh, I would really like you to replicate this page for me, make it an Elementor template. If you do that and I go through with it and I say, oh yeah, that looks awesome, let's do that. I create it. I'm going to give it to you for free, just for recommending it, and if I look at it and I say, oh yeah, that's beautiful, that's cool, let's do it, make this available to the rest of the MyListing Club community, right? So you will get that free template in return for recommending it. So let me know, but you got to be a club community member. It's a perk of being in the community. Okay, last up here, and I'll get you guys out of here. If you are a club community member and you purchase a starter site, one of these, Canvas Light or Canvas Dark, before the end of the month, I'll give you a $75 store credit. You can use it towards anything with the club, hosting, support, club, whatever you want to do. Extend your club membership, whatever it is you want to put it towards. Just buy the starter site before the end of the month, and I'll give you that store credit. If you are just the public, you're not a community member, you're just out there in the public, but you do buy a starter site before the end of the month, I'll give you a $50 store credit. You put towards anything towards the club that you want. I am not doing sales for the public very often anymore. I said I wasn't going to do any more at all, but this is a special occasion, so I wanted to put that out there. That would easily get you a month of hosting. You could extend a club membership. You could buy some add-ons, which those are already included at the starter site, so that's not a good example. But you could get some good stuff for that. But it's free money, right? Just the starter sites are already an amazing deal as it is. But that's it, guys. Hope you're excited about this as I am. I am excited to have the time back to just make these already amazing sites into something even more amazing, and being able to have more time to do more things for you guys. There are lots of changes coming to Elementor alone that are coming any day now. And I knew they were coming. And I thought about all of those old starter sites that were going to need to be refreshed, rethought out, rebuilt in a lot of ways. That wasn't an exciting thing. That was just one small factor, but Elementor is going to be changing things drastically here for the better here in the very near future. I'm heavily involved in WooCommerce and the WooCommerce community. There are changes coming to WooCommerce, exciting changes. So there's a lot changing, and being able to sit and focus on 2 starter sites and making them the best that they can be. It's actually focusing on one because they're the same, right? Just the colors are different. Being able to focus on one site, make it the best it can be, and you can literally turn it into anything you want. Okay. I promise you can. I've seen people do it over and over and over again. The problem with some of these other sites that are offering starter sites, they get abandoned over time. It's just the way that it is. It's hard not to do that. And it's just not exciting to maintain old stuff like that. So this is going to be, Canvas is always going to be fresh. It's always going to be enhanced, continually enhanced. It's not going to ever go stale because it is now my focus. It's been my focus for a bit now. But yeah, okay, I'm rambling. Again, before the end of the month, if you buy one of these starter sites, either a $75 credit if you're a club community member or $50 if you are a non-community member. If you're a non-community member, just go sign up to be a community member and get that extra $25. That's a pretty no-brainer situation there. It's no long-term commitment, but yeah, that's what I would do. And yeah, I think that's it. But again, you have until the end of the month for those store credits. Do not come to me after the end of the month and ask for it. It's just not going to happen. All right. All right. See you guys later.